morning, beloveds. So, we went to the movie last night. We went to see Argyle and had no idea really what to expect. And at the end of the movie, Tom was like, "Oh, it's a Matthew Vaughn movie, who did The Kingsman," which are, spy movies. And this was a spy movie. And it was actually really funny. Not spiritual at all. Not spiritual at all. Very cheesy. So, I had fun. I had fun. So, all right. And we have a very heavy topic today. It's one of those words that you feel like it weighs a ton. But which is probably just all the projections around the word. So it is February 7th. Our title is Atonement. Our author is Mary Baker Eddy. And this is from Science and Health, 1875. All right. Atonement is the exemplification of people's unity with God, whereby people reflect divine truth, life, love. Jesus of Nazareth taught and demonstrated people's oneness with the Spirit, and for this we owe him endless homage. His mission was both individual and collective. He did life's work aright, not only in justice to himself, but in mercy to mortals, to show them how to do theirs, but not to do it for them, nor to relieve them of a single responsibility. Jesus acted boldly against the accredited evidence of the senses, against the the Pharisees, the Pharisaical creeds and practices, and he refuted all opponents to his healing power. The atonement of Christ reconciles people to God, not God to people. For the divine principle of Christ is God, and how can God appropriate itself? Christ is truth, which reaches no higher than itself. The foundation can rise no higher than its source, Christ. Truth could conciliate no nature above its own, derived from eternal love. It was therefore Christ's purpose to reconcile people to God, not God to people. Love and truth are not at war with God's image and likeness. People cannot exceed divine love and so atone for themselves. Even Christ cannot reconcile truth to error, for truth and error are irreconcilable. Jesus aided in reconciling people to God by giving people a truer sense of love. The divine principle of Jesus' teachings and this truer sense of love redeems people from the law of matter, sin, and death by the law of spirit, the law of divine love. All right, you are always in for it when you read Mary Baker Eddy. And I have an extraordinarily extensive vocabulary, and yet there were a couple of words in there that I couldn't pronounce. Like, I love to read. I love to read. And so, I know lots and lots of words. And with the words that I couldn't pronounce, I at least knew what they meant. But I was like, when she decides to talk about Pharisees, I'm like, I've never seen this word before. I don't know how to pronounce this word, which is why I said Pharisees first. So at least you understand the word that I was trying to pronounce that I probably mangled badly had to do with Pharisees, the priestly class of Jesus's time, or one of the priestly class, because I think there's a couple of them. But the one that gave him the most trouble anyway. So, what in the heck was Mary Baker Eddy talking about, right? And frequently with Mary Baker Eddy, and I want to speak ill of the dead, but she was a little weird. Like, she was bang on with what she did. And Christian Science, because Christian Science is what Mary Baker Eddy founded. Christian Science, they have records of how effective their treatments are. They are like bang on, really good at what they do. Their method of treatment, they can be very, very effective. And a couple of teachers that came out of Christian Science who called themselves Christian Scientists, which Mary Baker Eddy probably would have disagreed with, but the internet was not a thing, thank God, because like Emma Curtis Hopkins is like the most famous teacher out there. She is the one she is called the teacher of teachers for a reason, and she taught Ernest Holmes. So she taught Ernest Holmes the treatment, and let's be honest, Mary Baker Eddy got it from Phineas Quimby. She does not give Phineas Quimby credit, but she did go to Phineas Quimby at least twice to be healed. So, she can take the credit, but she should give credit where credit's due. And Emma does. So, Emma was like, I was a student of Mary Baker Eddy. And then Ernest Holmes was a student of Emma. So Mary Baker, so that's one of the things when you want to look at any of the new thoughts, Phineas Parker Quimby, Mary Baker Eddy, Ernest Holmes, Melinda Kramer, Nona Brooks, did I say Emma Curtis Hopkins? I should have. I know I've said her. Well, they all have this idea, and that the idea is, it does come back to the divine love. It does come back to the divine love. And it comes back to everybody. New Thought went back to Jesus's teachings and went, what was he doing? All right. What was he doing? How was he doing it? And maybe we can do that because in his teachings, he said we could do that. He said, all of this you will do and more. Okay. So Jesus himself, and so what Mary Baker Eddy is reminding us is Jesus did not come to die on the cross. Jesus came to teach us. Him dying on the cross was one of his lessons for us, not for him. He knew what he was getting into. Because he was so fully engaged with the Christ consciousness. He came here to teach us how to do that. She said twice that we can't redeem ourselves. Because we can't redeem, it was like, what did she say? Something can't rise above its source. So we can't redeem ourselves. But we can redeem ourselves to God. God doesn't redeem God's self to us because, God's it. That's the end all be all. So she's reminding us that Jesus came to teach us, and it's kind of that last throwaway line. It's like you can read the whole thing, but really the meat of the bone, Jesus aided in reconciling people to God by giving people a truer sense of love. The divine principle of Jesus' teaching and this truer sense of love redeems people from the law of matter, sin, and death by the law of spirit, the law of divine love. Whatever else you want to say about Mary Baker Eddy, it's like, look, Jesus came here to teach us love. Because it is through love that all things are possible, including healing. And that's what's super important. That is super important. That line where people cannot exceed divine love and so atone for themselves. Even Christ cannot reconcile truth with error, for truth and error are irreconcilable. Jesus aided in reconciling people to God by giving a truth. Jesus came here to, and okay, I'm not going to debate the divinity of Jesus. What I'm going to say is that Jesus was a person who was fully in touch with the source of their own being. Okay? Jesus knew who he was. And Jesus was not afraid to call on God, the source of his own being, to do amazing things. If we are all beloved children of God, if we are all beloved expressions of the divine, why are we afraid to call on God for anything? Why do we only go crying to God as a last resort? Because that is not what Jesus taught. And it's not what Jesus lived. Jesus lived what we now call prayed up. Jesus talked to God all the time. All the time. Jesus prayed when it was good. Jesus prayed when it wasn't. Jesus prayed when things were, And that's what it is. There's a phrase in there about pray without ceasing. And in New Thought, what we use that phrase to remind ourselves, pray without ceasing, is a reminder that every thought could be creative. And how is it creative? Well, it's when we put emotion behind it. Now, notice I said emotion. So, any emotion. And let me remind you, anger is an emotion. All right? Sadness is an emotion. Love is many things, but including, it can be an emotion. So, joy, happiness, all of those. So, whatever thought you have that has the strength of emotion behind it is more likely to be creative. And you need to know that. So when you are screaming and crying and talking about how bad things are, those thoughts are creative, and they are going to color your perception of everything else that is going on around you. I'm not telling you not to scream and cry. I'm just telling you to be aware of how creative those thoughts can be. Because I scream and cry, and then but I am aware when I'm doing it to watch what I am saying. But I also am the definition of prayed up. I believe Reverend Jesse was talking on Sunday about this very thing. It's like, pray all of the time. Pray when things are good. Meister Eckhart says, if the only prayer you say is thank you, it will be enough. Okay? So you pray when things are good. You just go and tell God, all of the good things in your life. How wonderful they are. How grateful you are for all of these things. Go regularly to the source of your own being. So when things happen, because they do, we are not saying that if you stay prayed up, they won't happen. What we are saying is, if you stay prayed up, then when things happen, one, you will have a reserve of energy to draw, and two, you will be able to immediately drop into that prayer mindset and pray because you're well practiced. It's like a well-worn path. And that's, I want you to have a well-worn path to the source of your own being. I want you to have a well-worn path to God, to the universe, whatever you want to call it, the divine mind, the divine nature, whatever you want to call it. I want you to have a well-worn path. I want you to be able to go to the source of your own being at the drop of a hat, be it your hat or somebody else's. Be it your hat or somebody else's. Because I was at a 5K and somebody collapsed. And what was interesting was to watch, there were 2 or 3 of us who immediately dropped into that prayer. I did it quietly because that's my process. And another woman did it out while the rescue people did what they did. It's like, I can't do that. I can't do CPR or any of that. I don't think she needed CPR. I think it was just, she got overheated, or maybe or was this one when she twisted her ankle? Okay. Point being, I am not qualified to do that. I am not qualified to support somebody who has possibly twisted, broken, sprained an ankle. I'm not qualified for that. I'm not going to touch that. But what I can do in that situation is I can pray for her, and I can pray for the people helping her, that she is literally in the hands of God, and they are the hands of God and are guided by the divine wisdom. Okay, that's what I can do. And I can do that at a drop of a hat because I have a well-worn path to the source of my own being. So then if the next time that the hat drops, it's my ankle, I can still treat because I am practiced. There are reasons why they call us practitioners. So, what Jesus came to teach us was 1, love. Absolutely. 2, pray up. Pray when things are good, so that when things do take a turn for the weird, you know what to do. You don't have to stop and think, okay, what are the 5 steps of treatment? Yeah, they're already ingrained. Mary Baker Eddy is Mary Baker Eddy, okay? And she stimulates good discussions. She may use weird words, but I don't know if we touched on atonement. If we did atonement justice. I don't know if we did Mary Baker Eddy justice. I believe so. It was a good discussion. So the mission today, should we choose to accept it? Pray up. Pray up. Make regular trips to the source of your own being. Right here, right now, after you get off watching this, if time allows you, and if not, pick another time. Do a prayer simply to go to the source of your own being. Be it to say thank you, be it to ask for something, be it to just go to the source of your own being and say, I'm here, show me. Pray up. And it doesn't have to be long, and it doesn't have to be flowery. It can be basic and simple. There is one God. I am a part of that. I am sourced from that. My life is good. And I am grateful. And so it is. And I let it go. That it may continue. 30 seconds. I encourage you to do longer than that, but if you can do that just at the drop of a hat, then when you are in a situation where treatment would be beneficial, you can drop in. It's what we practice for, right? We practice for the good. We practice for the good. Like, if somebody comes to me with fantastic news, I'm going to pray then too. I'm going to pray. God is good. The universe is good. The divine is good. Whatever word you want to use. So, all right. That is your mission today. Pray up. The other mission is the same mission I give you every day, to do something loving for yourself, do something kind for yourself, do something compassionate for yourself. Whatever that looks like. Be it one thing, be it 3 things. Point is to practice on yourself. If Jesus came to teach love, then let's practice it. One of the most loving things we can do is to practice the pause. Take a deep breath before you speak. Okay? And as I said, I saw a meme that said, pause before all of these things, whatever they were. And it says, and in the pause, pray. That's how quickly you can pray. In a pause. So take a deep breath before you speak, especially to yourself. Respond rather than react. Take a walk, take a nap, take a break. You know what they are? Walk away from things, or just go get your body moving. Reduce your stress, get more rest, sleep, take a break, go do something else for a little while. Especially if you're hitting your head against the wall. Go do something else for a while. And then come back with a fresh perspective. That is one of the powers of prayer, is to give you a fresh perspective. So never discount the power of prayer to give you a fresh perspective. I mean, occasionally if I get stuck on a problem, I'm like, well, then I'll just pray. And then I'll go do something else. You know, there is nothing is too small for God. Nothing is too big for God. Nothing is too small for God. Okay? Nothing is too small for God. You want to pray to God for a hangnail? Go ahead. Go ahead. I'm not kidding. Nothing's too small for God. So, all right. Loving, kind, compassionate. Eat dessert first. The whole, don't save the good stuff. Don't save the good stuff. Don't wait for a special occasion. Make the occasion special. All right. And make room for joy. It does not matter what is going on in the world. It does not matter what is going on in your life. You still deserve joy. It is a quality of God. Therefore, it is a quality of you. Please make room for it. All right. Okay. The rest of the suggestions. Basic self-care. Do something to engage your mind and your body, whatever that looks like for you. Drink plenty of water. Hydration is important. Your brain works better, your body works better, your skin looks better. Get that early in your morning bright light. The clouds are coming back, so I've enjoyed my, few days of sun. I did get some sun this morning, and it was good. And I will continue to get as much sun early in my day as I can. It's 5 or 10 minutes. I'm talking about a circadian rhythm. And if you need more support than you're getting in your house, or you're out of the, and you're out of the artificial light does help. And if you need more support, sun lamp, seasonal effect disorder light. Okay. They shouldn't be expensive. Don't spend a whole lot of money on them, but they can be very helpful. I don't know what the cat's talking about. If you can hear him. Okay. Ernest Holmes quote, open the windows of your soul, allow the breath of heaven to remind you, you do live in heaven right here, right now. It's all around us all the time. That quote, the reason why it is my favorite is because it reminds me of two things. Okay. One, it's all God. It's all God. Everything. The inanimate, the animate, it's all God because it's all made from the same stuff. Now, God is that spark of life in the animate, but you know what? All that animated stuff is made from the same thing that the living stuff is. So yeah, let's think about that. Okay. There's the question, does a rock have a consciousness? I hope so. Not the same kind of consciousness I do, I get that, but I hope a rock has a consciousness. Okay. That's just kind of the world I want to live in, where rocks have consciousness. Some days my brain just chases a squirrel. The other thing that quote reminds me of, okay? Heaven isn't a place. It is not, as Ernest says, a locality. He quotes that somewhere else. So, it's a state of mind. Really, honestly, Jesus came to teach us love. He came to teach us that heavenly state of mind, that heavenly state of consciousness. He said the kingdom of God is within you. That means that heaven, the kingdom of heaven is within you. It's a state of mind. It's a state of consciousness. Once you learn to create it for yourself, the most amazing thing is any place can become heaven. And nobody can take it away from you. So, all right. And we've got lots of ways to learn how to do that. So, get on that. Get on that. And one of the ways to start is to learn to pray up. Pray when things are good. But the other way to do it, Emma Curtis Hopkins, look for the good and praise it. I've been leaning into this for the month. And you can do it first thing in the morning or last thing at night, depending on, do you need a good night's sleep or did you wake up grumpy? Write down 3 things you're grateful for and don't repeat for a week. Okay? Don't repeat any of the 3 things. If possible, go ahead and do it for a month. Write down 3 things every day that you are grateful for and don't repeat for a month. And then post the list somewhere where you can see it. So when you are having those moments, then you already got this list that is prayed up. See what I did there? I'm being sneaky and kind of smart there. All right. So look for the good and praise it. All right. Social media. We are Creative Life Spiritual Center, Creative Life Spark. I'm the running Rev Ryan on the social medias that I am on. I commend them to you. I encourage you to go to like and subscribe. You never know what's going to pop up. I've decided that I really liked the treatments that I did at the end of service on for the Back to the Basics series, because we kind of talked about the steps of treatment. So I'm going and cutting those, and I'm archiving them on the Running Rev Ryan YouTube channel, which means I'm putting them on the Running Rev Ryan Facebook page, because, it's the easiest way for me to get it from one place to the next. So, and we've got little clips of Jesse doing various questions, and I'm working on him breaking down the steps of treatment right now. So I got step 1 up. I got home too late last night to do it last night. So I'll get another one up tonight, probably. We'll do step 2. So look out for that on all 3 of the social medias, the Instagram, the Facebook, and the YouTube. I have nothing to do with the TikTok, but apparently me giving her the short clips is going to help her with TikTok. So we'll see. All right. Where was I? Email info@creativelife.org. That'll get you on the constant contact. That way you'll know what's going on. You get 1 email a week unless something happens, because it's a real person doing it. He ain't got that time kind of time. All right. And the hot links are hot. So now I'm at the part where I get to encourage you to have a great day, a wondrous day, a fantastic day, a magical day, an enchanted day, a wonderful day, an awesome day, an amazing day, a pray up day, a loving day, a kind day, a compassionate day, a go get some sunshine day, a dance in the rain day, a get some stuff done day, a reduce your stress day, a take a nap day, a call a good friend day, a love your fur baby day, a good day. And if that is too much pressure, simply have a day. You are enough just as you are. You are a beloved expression of the divine. You are spirit in motion. You are God in action. You are a brilliant light. You are a divine spark. Or as Reverend Jesse likes to call us, you're a godling. All right, beloveds, know the truth of your being. I talk about making a well-worn path to the source of your own being. I also want to remind you to peel back the layers of everything that you have been told that you are. Everything. Peel all those layers back and get to know who God knows you to be. Okay? Because I can promise you one thing. The person that the divine knows is good. Because that's all the divine sees. All right, beloveds. I am going to remind you, Reverend David will be on around 5 p.m. with you. I will be back with you around 9 a.m. tomorrow. Take care of yourself. Know that you are loved, and I will see you next time.